I'm going to be brutally honest with you right now. What I'm about to share isn't the kind of thing your father told you before bed. It's not what your teachers drilled into you in school. It's not what society wants you to know. Most men will go to their graves completely blind to this. And that's exactly how the system wants it. Because once you hear what I'm about to tell you, you can't unhear it. This is the knowledge that splits your life in two. The time before you knew it, and the time after. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolo Machiavelli wrote the most dangerous truths about human nature ever documented. So dangerous, the church banned his work. So powerful, kings, presidents, CEOs, and generals still study him in secret while condemning him in public. Why? Because Machiavelli didn't write philosophy. He wrote the operating manual for human beings. Not how we pretend to work, not how we wish we worked, but how we actually work. And here's the terrifying part. The people who already know these truths, they're using them against you every single day. In boardrooms, in relationships, in politics, in war. They're playing chess while you're still playing checkers. So ask yourself, why did nobody teach you this? Because their fathers never taught them. And society programmed you to believe seeing reality makes you cynical, strategy makes you manipulative, understanding power makes you evil. But here's the brutal truth. Ignorance isn't virtue. Ignorance is weakness. Starting right now, I'm going to make you powerful. I'm going to make you dangerous. Because once you learn these truths, you will never see human interaction the same way again. Chapter 1. The Lie. You've been told a story, a comfortable one, that power corrupts, that ruthless people are broken, that manipulation is the tool of the weak. Pause, but watch closely. The boardroom, the bedroom, the family dinner table. Who gets what they want? Not the honest, not the kind, not the transparent. Let that settle. You've been living inside a fairy tale, one that keeps you soft, keeps you asking permission, keeps you waiting for the world to be fair. And while you wait, others are rewriting the rules. They're not louder than you, not smarter, not more deserving. They simply understand something you don't. Reality isn't neutral. It doesn't respond to virtue. It responds to pressure, to calculated force, to those who refuse to play the game everyone else is playing. This isn't about evil. This is about pattern recognition, about seeing the invisible architecture of control. And right now, you're standing on the outside of it, looking in, wondering why the same people always win. Hold that thought, because by the end of this, you'll see the machinery, you'll understand the language, and you'll face a choice. Chapter 2, The Hidden Nature. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture someone who always gets their way. Not through force, through something else. They enter a room. The temperature changes. People adjust, defer, realign. Why? Because they've mastered something ancient, something coded into the human nervous system. The Machiavellian doesn't argue. They frame. They don't convince. They create conditions where you convince yourself. Watch this carefully. They never ask for what they want. They make you offer it. They don't defend their position. They make their position the only rational choice. This is surgical. While you're focused on being right, they're focused on being inevitable. There's a difference, a profound one. Think back the last time someone completely redirected your thinking, changed your mind without you realizing. made you feel like it was your idea all along. That wasn't accident. That was architecture. They understood something about your psychology, your triggers, your identity, your unspoken needs, and they built a pathway straight into your decision-making center. No force required, because force creates resistance. But invisible guidance, that creates compliance. Stay with me. The Machiavellian mind doesn't see people as people. It sees them as systems with inputs, outputs, predictable responses. And once you understand the system, you can run it. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Stripped of sentiment, stripped of self-deception, just pure mechanical understanding of cause and effect. Chapter 3, the toolkit. Now we descend into the actual mechanics, the techniques that remake reality. First, strategic ambiguity. The Machiavellian never fully reveals. They speak in half-truths, in implications, in carefully constructed uncertainty. Why? Because ambiguity creates space for projection, for assumption, for you to fill in the gaps. With whatever serves them best, they become a mirror, reflecting your desires back to you, and you trust mirrors. Second, emotional debt. Watch this closely. They create obligation through small favors, strategic vulnerability, calculated generosity. Not because they're kind, because debt is leverage, and most people don't realize they're accumulating it until it's time to collect. And when that moment comes, you'll pay, because your nervous system is already programmed to reciprocate. Third, the pivot. They never fight battles they can't win. Instead, they change what victory means, shift the terrain, redefine the rules, make the argument irrelevant. You think you're debating one thing, but the frame has already moved and you're chasing shadows. Fourth, the void. Silence is their most devastating weapon. Not anger, not explanation, nothing. Because the human mind cannot tolerate a void. It rushes to fill it with apology, with confession, with concession. They simply withdraw, and you destabilize completely. Fifth, identity leverage. This is the deepest cut. They don't attack your actions. They reframe your identity. You're the kind of person who, I thought you were someone who, this doesn't seem like you. And suddenly, you're not defending a choice. You're defending your self-concept, which means you've already lost because they've moved the battle into your interior, where you'll wage war on yourself. Feel that? That slight tension? That's recognition. You've been on the receiving end of these more times than you know. Here's what you don't understand yet. Chapter 4, bending reality. Reality isn't objective. It's negotiated, constructed through consensus. And the Machiavellian, they're master builders. Watch, a rumor planted here, an alliance formed there, a perception shifted, a narrative established. And suddenly, what everyone knows to be true has changed. Not because the facts changed, because the story changed. And humans don't live in facts, they live in stories. Think of reputation. It's not what you are, it's what people collectively agree you are. And that agreement, it's malleable, shapeable, controllable. The Machiavellian understands this, so they don't defend themselves. They don't argue, they simply seed alternative interpretations, doubt, counter-narratives, and they let time do the work. This is patience, not the patience of waiting, the patience of cultivation. They plant now, for a harvest months away. While you're reacting to today's crisis, they're engineering next quarter's consensus. there's a meeting happening. Right now, somewhere, where your name is being discussed, your competence, your reliability, your trustworthiness, and you're not there. You don't even know it's happening. But the Machiavellian, they made sure they were. Or better, they made sure the person in that room already has the right impression of you. This is the invisible game, the one most people never realize they're playing until they've lost. Chapter 5. Why you fall for it. Now turn the lens inward. This is uncomfortable, but necessary. You fall for it because you need to believe in fairness, in consistency, in people's stated intentions. That need is a vulnerability. The Machiavellian knows this. They exploit hope, your desire to think well of others, your reluctance to seem paranoid, your fear of being wrong about someone. They create cognitive dissonance, show you kindness, then exploit you. And your mind, it can't reconcile the two, so it defaults to the positive. Maybe I misunderstood. They probably didn't mean it that way. I'm being too sensitive. There it is. You gaslight yourself to preserve the comfortable narrative, and they count on it. Here's the deeper cut. You've been trained since childhood to value certain things: authenticity, directness, emotional honesty, and those are beautiful values, but they're also handicaps against someone who doesn't share them. You're playing chess, they're playing poker, different games, different rules, and you keep wondering why your night got stacked when you weren't looking. There's another layer: your identity. You've built a self-concept around being good, trustworthy, fair, and that's admirable. But it means you can't see manipulation when it comes, because seeing it would require you to think like the manipulator, and that feels wrong, dirty, beneath you. So you don't develop the pattern recognition, you don't study the tactics, and you remain vulnerable by choice, a choice you don't realize you're making. Chapter 6. Becoming unmanipulable. Here's where it shifts from understanding to immunity. The unmanipulable person isn't naive. They're not trusting. They're not open. They're aware. First principle: separate stated intentions from revealed priorities. Don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do when resources are scarce, when stakes are high, when no one's watching. That's truth. Everything else is performance. Second principle: maintain emotional distance in decision-making. Feel what you feel, but decide from somewhere colder. The Machiavellian wins because they think clearly, while you're drowning in emotion, in hope, in hurt. They're calculating next moves. Match that. Third principle: recognize the frame. Every interaction has a frame, a set of assumptions about what's being discussed, who has power, what the stakes are. The Machiavellian sets the frame. You accept it without noticing. Stop. Question the premises. Ask, what am I being invited to assume here? What would change if I rejected that assumption? Fourth principle: control information asymmetry. Never reveal your full position, your resources, your timeline, your alternatives. Information is power, and you've been giving it away for free in the name of transparency. Stop that too. Fifth principle: build options. The trapped person is manipulable. The person with alternatives, immune. Always have a way out. Another offer, another path, another relationship. Not as backup, as leverage. This is liberation, not through isolation, through strategic positioning. You become unmanipulable the moment you don't need any single person, any single outcome, any single path. Chapter 7. The Machiavellian Within. Now we arrive at the question, the one you've been avoiding. Could you do this? Not just defend against it, but deploy it. Bend reality to your will. Move people like pieces. Engineer outcomes. Pause here. Feel what rises. Resistance, curiosity, disgust, excitement. All of it reveals something. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. You already do this, just badly, unconsciously. You manipulate your children into eating vegetables, your partner into watching your show, your boss into giving you time off. You just call it something else. Persuasion, influence, negotiation. But the mechanics are identical. The Machiavellian difference. They're honest about it, at least with themselves. They don't dress it up. They don't moralize. They simply optimize for outcomes, not feelings. There's a version of you, sleeping, unused, that sees the board clearly, that moves without hesitation, that gets what it wants, not through force, through precision. It's already there. In that moment, you withheld information strategically. In that time, you let someone believe what served you. In that conversation, you guided toward a conclusion. You know how. You've just been afraid to know that you know. The question isn't capability, it's permission. Will you give yourself permission to play the actual game? Or will you keep pretending there's another one? This is the threshold. On one side, comfort, moral certainty, the warm feeling of being good, and periodic, confusing losses. On the other side, clarity, power, results, and the cold understanding of what you've become. Chapter 8. Awakening. Something is shifting in you, right now. Can you feel it? The old stories don't fit anymore. The comfortable explanations feel thin. You've seen too much, understood too clearly. There's no going back. This is the awakening, not to goodness, to complexity, to the realization that the world has always operated this way. You just weren't seeing it. People you admired, leaders you followed, friends you trusted, they were playing the game the whole time, and you were the board. Let that land. Not with bitterness, with clarity, because bitterness is just another trap, another way to stay powerless. The awakened person doesn't rage against the game. They master it, or they opt out completely. Both require the same thing. Seeing clearly. Here's what you understand now. Every relationship is a negotiation. Every conversation is positioning. Every interaction has hidden layers. And the person who sees those layers operates on a different plane. This doesn't make you cynical. It makes you real. Living in the actual world, not the one you were taught to believe in. There's grief in this, for innocence lost, for simpler times, for the belief that authenticity alone was enough. Feel that grief, honor it, and then release it, because sentimentality is luxury, and you're done with luxury. You're ready for power. Chapter 9. Prophecy and Invitation. I'll tell you what happens next, not because I'm mystical, because patterns are predictable. Some of you will close this, return to the comfortable lie, convince yourselves you didn't hear what you heard. That's fine. The game needs pieces. Some of you will become paranoid, seeing manipulation everywhere, trusting nothing, frozen by awareness. That's just another form of powerlessness. But a very few, will integrate this, not as technique, as understanding. You'll move through the world differently, seeing the invisible architecture, speaking the hidden language, positioning without announcing, influencing without force. You'll become dangerous. Not because you're cruel, because you're clear. And clarity is the rarest form of power. Here's what I know. 6 months from now, you'll be in a situation, a negotiation, a conflict, a pivotal moment, and you'll have a choice. Play it the old way, honest, direct, hoping for fairness, or apply what you now understand. Frame, position, guide the outcome, and in that moment, you'll discover who you actually are, not who you say you are, not who you think you are, who you are when it matters. The Machiavellian mind isn't born, it's activated by necessity, by awakening, by the refusal to keep losing the game you didn't know you were playing. This is your invitation, not to become something foreign, to become something true, the version of yourself that stops pretending, that stops self-sabotaging through nobility, that plays to win, without apology. The world will not reward your goodness. It will exploit it, unless you wise up, unless you fireward and become the player. The choice was always. You just didn't know you were making it until now.